This number is on missing number variables. Now, when we look at a simple algebra equation, we have one variable. Now, this variable could be represented as a triangle, it could be represented as a y, it could be represented as a question mark. But what you need to know is the x is usually the first missing variable. If there's a second missing variable, usually it's y, and then so forth. Now, there's a couple ways to solve for x. To solve for x in this equation, I have a few options. One, I can look at it, and if it's simple enough, I can probably figure it out in my head. 12 take away a mystery number equals 1. Well, I can do that pretty easy in my head. Okay, I know that 12 take away 11 would equal 1. Now, that is the first way we can do it, and then I'll show you how to write it once we've solved for x. So once we know that what x is, we're going to write x in the same column, and then we're going to write what it equals. X equals 11. Okay, and we can double check this by actually plugging it into the equation and doing the math. 12 take away 11 equals 1. Let's try. 12 take away 11. Okay, do the math. Perfect. Don't know why I did that line. Okay, so I know that that math checks out. Here's the second way to do it. And this is what you want to do when it gets more complicated and a little more confusing. So the first thing that we want to do on an equation like this is isolate the x. And what I mean by that is you want it on one side of the equal sign, one side up here, and you don't want it to be a negative. Okay. So I'm going to look at each of these units or each of these numbers as distinct things. So I have positive 12, negative x, and positive 1. My goal is to have positive x on one side and all my other numbers on the other side. Okay? So this is how we're going to do it. I see this as if this was a positive x, I can leave it. But it's a negative x, so I need to get it on the other side of the river, other side of the equal sign. So what I have to do to get rid of a negative x, I need to add positive x. Okay? Whatever you do to one side, you guessed it, you got to do to the other side. Okay? So I'm going to add positive x. So this is where it gets tricky, because now I've added a positive x to both sides. The goal is to get rid of it here, and these two cancel each other out. Negative and a positive of the same number cancel out to 0 always. So we know that I've gotten rid of that. Now I have to rewrite what it looks like over here. So I'm going to rewrite the equation below, keeping my equal sign as my anchor point. Okay? So I, on this side, have just 12 left. 12 equals 1, and now I have to put in that plus x because I put it to the other side. 1 plus x. Okay, getting closer. Okay, all I want is a positive x on one side. That is my goal. So now I need to get rid of this positive 1. So what do you do to get rid of positive 1? That's right, you take away 1. So I'm going to use my blue marker. Let's take away 1. And if I take away 1 from this side, I got to take away 1 from this side. Okay? So now let's rewrite the equation. So what is 12 take away 1? 11. And what do we have on this side? Hey, the negative 1 and the 1 canceled each other out. That's excellent. So I'm left with 11 equals x. All right, I need to rewrite that better. 11 equals x. Okay, so I know what x is now. I've solved it a second way. Okay, now the last thing that is good to note is when you're doing an x, so you don't get confused with the multiplication x, is we often put this little curve, this little hook on the top left corner of the x, okay? And you do that so that you know that you're not multiplying, okay? It can get a little confusing, so do your best, right? So use that equal sign as an anchor to line up your math, and remember to cancel it out, but your goal is to get positive x by itself, okay? Hope that helps.